Hello, everyone. I was just looking at the text feed. It's so nice to see that you're here, and I'm with my buddies. Very, very nice to see you. So let's see. Wow, so much is going on. I would love to see your intentions shared, what you'd like to receive out of this session, what you're focused on, and perhaps I see some of us that are going to be together at the end of the month, which is so wonderful. I feel absolutely like that our work down in Banner Elk, North Carolina is going to be epic, as it has been in each of the other two events that we have participated in late August and early September. So let's give it a minute and let me hear your intention. Could be one word, a phrase, or if you have a question, I'd be happy to entertain that too. And also, just so you know, I have been studying this platform more. Can you believe I've been using this for about 3 years? And I'm just now learning how to bring a voice or an image up on the stage and so on and so forth. So it's actually much more of an interactive format that than what I recognized. So, yepers, I see Mark is saying liberation. That has been our intention that we set for our participation in Lake Tahoe and also in Crestone. So, I will say that when you set the intention of liberation, just really be aware that that means let go of everything, any kind of internal resistance that you may have or not, whatever comes your way, just say, yes, I accept. Yes, I accept. So I would have to add my intention to that as well. So very good. So I'll give it another minute or two, and then we'll drop into the field together and see what Spirit has to say. Beautiful. While we're kind of waiting to hear more of the intentions, I'll share with you a little bit about what I've been experiencing, which is, I think Spirit is opening my field up a bit. One is, I think for those of you that are following along with me in the morning sessions, the published version of those sessions is all the way up to August or mid August, late August. And what I realize and have been realizing now with so much of the work, Spirit takes us step by step by step by step, and we're discovering each revelation as we go. And at the same time, I am discovering stuff about timelines. You'll see in there that the guides talk about the singularity of the coalescing of timelines coming together. And for those, I know Dottie, if Dottie's on the web with us tonight, I know she had invited me into one or a couple of her remote viewing practice sessions. And that was very interesting how you can just get a number or having somebody think something in their mind and be able to pick up different impressions about a location or an object or whatever the case may be. So that kind of thing has been happening in my work. The other thing that's been happening more and more, like what is happening or being reported out in the telepathic tapes from the autistic children when they describe going to the hill to communicate, they're actually communicating with real kids, real people, not necessarily in real time. I call that relative time, where they meet heart to heart and converse and share. And again, these are all nonverbal communications, but that's what's happening. So I'm finding that's what's happening with me also when I'm being of service to someone, especially in the context of the private session work. So I find that all very interesting, that the field is opening up so much that it's like the wild, wild west again in the consciousness field as the veil is lifted and these control grids are starting to loosen their grip on so many. We're able to see more, hear more, feel more as we go along. So I think that's just really very exciting. And so I know that everybody can see the tech feed, and so the intentions are lovely. Thank you so much. And I love hearing about unity and open the heart and what the earth wants. This whole concept of the heart, open-heartedness, sovereignty, peace, connection, divine order. And so these are really lovely, lovely intentions. And of course, enlightenment, which I'm there with you, Donna. So with that, let's go ahead and we'll drop into the field with these intentions and see what Spirit has to say tonight in terms of inner guidance. And if there's, again, any questions that you have, there's actually I believe there is a space for that. Yep, it's in your, I believe your, yep, right hand of your screen. And if it's for me, it's the second one down on the right. And if you do have a question, Mark is monitoring the text feed for me so that I don't have to kind of come out of my space here. He can check that. So if you do have a question, you can type it into the chat, and then when we get to that part toward the end, I'll be able to queue it up. He'll help me with that. So with that, let's all take a moment and drop into the field together. So as always, I'm setting my intention for the highest expression for my soul's experience, embodied experience here on earth. And for all of you beautiful, beautiful brothers and sisters of the light, here we are internally setting our intention for the amplitude of our heart's desires to be fulfilled. The energy is really, really strong tonight. It's very clear. For those of you that know what happens with me, I get this intense downloading of light that oftentimes it'll cause my whole back to arc, which it just did. And it, depending upon the intention and the consciousness that comes in with the intention, I certainly trust what's coming in. So with that, these are the Elohim. They've been with me all day. We've been having very in-depth conversations. And I always hear the words, don't worry, be happy. And that's really the bottom line with this new earth matrix of consciousness is do not worry, be happy. So let me just go a little deeper here and see what they have to say. They're saying that the world is changing. Yes, we all are aware. We all are aware that the world is changing. It's radically changing. So they're saying that the world is changing radically from the way that we know it, the way that we have been brought into this world, and the world herself, the way that they describe the world is the earth, the beings of light, the creatures, the stone people, the the fairy realms, the flora and the fauna. It's like the totality of what resides on this planet. That's what they call the world. And all of the consciousness grids that are formed through all these thought forms. And they're saying the one thing that cuts through everything is amplifying a strong heart coherency field without the drama, without the story, without anything to get in our way of feeling and knowing who we are and what we are. And they're saying that all the time that they are guiding light groups, star groups around the world, and the avatars, the teachers, the sages, the spiritual teachers that travel the world to bring this simple message, which it's the mind clutter must go. The stories that we tell ourselves about good, bad, right, wrong. It is time for us to drop our minds below that chaotic node, that chaotic minefield, and begin to really understand that everything in this world is frequency. And every frequency is at its foundation built upon sacred geometry. And they're saying that they have given us the basic tools. This sacred geometry behind me, the Lotus of Life configuration, is just a two-dimensional depiction of a very complex, multi-dimensional way of connecting, and it's what moves and drives everything, not only on the planet but also within us, and it animates all of life. It's the channel or the funnel in which a 0-point frequency God consciousness can do its mighty work. They're saying that as we are recognizing in this moment of this reality that the way forward shall be with ease and grace, that without our understanding or knowing of life events unfolding, that the grid lines that have held us all in such a grip hold of structure, a certain structure, is no longer. They're saying it's going to take our minds a while, like waking up from a dream, recognizing that no matter how vivid a dream is, it actually is just a dream. We are all waking up to a new reality, a collective reality, to understand that we are liberated from these control grids. They do not have a hold over us any longer. And there have been many who have been from other galactic universes, galaxies of light, that are here to help us, to teach us, to bring us into the dawn of a new era. And we are to understand that it is the embodiment of light that will have us trusting in our own knowing. They're saying that no one can do this for you, for me. We must all take responsibility for our own inner consciousness. Our cosmology will shift, it'll change, because that's evolution. And yet the inner knowing will never change. Your capacity, they're saying, to discern, to anchor light into form, has always been with you as a soul, as a being of light embodied. They're saying that as we recognize in this manner of beingness that the reality of oneness is upon us, that we are to leave room for diversity, for the unique expression of all souls in this universe. The universes of all universes is upon us. And they're pointing me back to this Lotus of Life. They're saying, if you notice, there are 12 circles surrounding the one. The one is the 0 point. It's God consciousness. And as we honor one another in the way that we express, the way that we move, the way that we do the dance of life on this planet, that this includes the animal kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the flora and fauna. It includes the fen, the fairies, the gnomes, the spirits that animate and do their light weaving so that the inner earth beings can send signals up through the root systems of the plants and the trees, and the crystalline formations beneath the Earth's surface. And they're saying that the Earth is not angry. The Earth is merely shifting in her rotational spin of the Earth. They're saying the volcanic eruptions that are firing off now and shall continue for another 23 years, they shall only become more intense. They shall be sputtering because the underground rivers, as they have said many moons ago, shall reverse course. They shall change as the wobble effect of the Earth, the orbital spin of the Earth begins to shift and change. So too shall be the magna. The magna are the underground rivers of Earth. They shall shift and change, and they shall find their rightful place to relieve pressure from the tectonic plates that do indeed shift and change as well. And they're saying our political structures, our economic structures, our livelihoods shall shift, shall change. What we see in our systems, plural systems of governance, will not be recognizable even in 3 years, 4 years, 6 years. We will not see our way of life the same as for those of us that have come in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even the 2000s. Our children will look back, our grandchildren will look back and have little to no memory of the time before. There shall be certain terms and words that shall disappear from our lexicon. Our minds will look for a word and it won't be found because things are changing that radically. The concept of division and hatred and malice shall be such a thing of the past that we will not have a concept of such. They're saying that the singular timeline that is coalescing, these are many hearts, many souls coming into a state of oneness. And it is all an inside job. It is all the inner knowing, the inner feeling of each and every one of us as we get right with the inner light of God within us, that we let go of any internal constriction or resistance that we might feel. They're saying this is true. The human nature is full of chaotic nodes, internal firings from stories from before. We must remember that we have adopted DNA that has been on this planet for close to 1 million years. We have been through the firestorms and through the tribal warfares and through the marauding nature of being annihilated. And so we have those fear codes in our soul memory. And yet we are not that. We have not come here for that. We have not come here to fight the good fight. We have come here to love one another with ease and grace, to build society, to get back down to the basics of life on this planet, and to allow the earth to regenerate her ecosystems. Her flora and fauna shall return. The animal kingdom that has left the planet already shall return as well. There shall be a great remixing of that which was before projected into our future. We shall have a direct communication with the animal kingdom. They are not above us, they are not below us, they are beside us. And in many cases, they are above us in their intelligence of all things because they live in present moment. There is not a projection of past, present, or future in the animal kingdom. They're saying this is our default setting. is to stay present. And yet, for many of us, the concept of the past still haunts us. There's still a hashing and a rehashing and a hashing and a rehashing, a recycling of the war gaming, the difficulty, the oppression of one group, one seemingly different group to another. And they're saying, this shall be wiped from our memory as we heal and as we transform. And it's happening very, very quickly now. They're saying really by 2023 was the turning point. Once we came out of that challenging time of 2020 to 2021, when our brethren, we were programmed to hate one another, to divide from this or that. We have recovered from that in part, and yet the divisional lines are still there. For those that are fearful, the lines are triggered very quickly and easily. For those that endured that time and went underground, if you will, and stayed quiet and held sacred space for the whole of humanity, they're saying that it was a help for them, for the angelic beings, because it helped them to come into a higher waveform, to bring us all into a higher waveform of light, to kind of dust off the rusty edges, if you will, of our programming, and to bring us all into the inner light of God that we are already. They're saying that the case files will be full to overflowing with what was done, and the tribunals that will be called for will not occur, because the people that are calling for those tribunals, when all is said and done, will no longer be of the earth. The ones that shall be left are the ones that shall infuse one's heart with love beyond measure. They're saying that as we recognize this and begin to accelerate our ascension process, that those who shall come to know what was before shall become the record keepers. It shall not be out of what was right or what was wrong. It will simply be a mark on the record, like the rings of a tree marking the eternal sense of time. And in fact, the trees and the stone people are the record keepers of Earth. You can find the markings of civilization and all these twists and turns of humankind and humanoid kind on this planet from before time. We are saying to you now that as you are recognizing and as you are creating and as you are growing, is you are to love thyself with all thy heart. You are to love, to know God within your heart of hearts, and to let everything else go. You shall find that the annihilation programs that we have said before shall not be. And this is quite true. It shall be averted and shall be thwarted for future generations to come. We shall say that as you are recognizing and as you are creating, is to know that all is quite well, you see. So they're showing me that, I think they call it A1 something, that big ship that is nearing our solar system. They're saying it is a way, they're saying, yes, we know. Yes, we know. Yes, we know you are quite curious about such a phenomenon. And isn't it fascinating, interesting, intriguing that your human population, this is on display for the scientists among you, and also for they're calling it spiritualist, to determine the end of an era, yes, where there is ultimate separation between earth people and star people. I'm laughing because it's so joyful. The reason why it's so joyful is they're showing me the images that I've seen so many times before, where they take embodied ones up on these starships for healing and restitution for reprogramming, if you will, their life trajectory on this planet. And so those are the images that are being flashed in front of me. So this is an object that is encoded with light for the study. It's sort of like a specimen from the sea, a beautiful, colorful fish that has never been seen before is revealing itself in full regalia so that it can be studied. And so they're saying this ship and the accompanying ships beside it, around it, the probes, if you will, are there on full display as well. The regalia shall come closer to our orbital spin. This is quite true. And there shall not be a rallying or a defense mounted, because there shall be a direct communication. There is already a direct communication, a ping, if you will, that happened in 1972 and again in 1997. The scientific community, the space watchers, as they say, they're saying again in 2004, they have been alerting the people of Earth and pinging in to announce, excuse me, to announce their arrival. We say that as you are recognizing and as you are creating, you shall know your brethren, you shall know that which you are because of the light quotient that you carry, and that shall open to you. This is ancient technology. This is ancient understanding of your true birthright, your true heritage. And these are beings that had come to this earth eons ago, and yet the ship in these earlier times had been destroyed. And yet this ship is a returning ship, and it shall come with a new payload of information, of acceleration. It is here for the acceleration of the humanoid race of beings, which is the human DNA shall receive much upgrades. Rather than dying of fright, you shall find that the sense of joyousness shall rebound on high. We shall be soft and gentle with you, for we are the angelic beings, the messengers from our source creator to help humanity understand the beings of light that come from the sky. We are sending messages through channels, through empaths, through intuitives worldwide to help the population, if you will, begin to understand what is and what shall be. We come in peace, and we are your brethren, and we are bringing much in the way of jump-starting your evolution, if you will. The control grids that we, the Elohim that are speaking here, that we have been gently, moderately dismantling so that you can become more accustomed to that which is, and the anti-gravitational field that results from this dismantling, this heaviness, as you equate this heaviness with gravity, for which it is not. These consciousness grids have certain qualities to it depending upon what part of the world in which you reside. If you shall notice that in some parts of the world, if you are simply a visitor in foreign land, you notice the lightness of beingness that you might experience. And then in other places, you feel very oppressed, very heavy, very sluggish. It's challenging for your mind to think. And yet you might think, well, it's because of the stress, the hardship, the difficulty that might be occurring by the people in this world. And yes, this is quite true. And yet the mind equates it with a form of gravity. And we say that you shall begin to understand in a greater sense that your feeling of gravity shall come, and does indeed come, from the consciousness field in which you reside. We say that as we are helping to gently to dismantling these control grids, it is also for the purpose of Earth, for these control grids do indeed impact the flora and the fauna, the neural network, which are the trees and the systems of the Earth. And so this is another reason why we have over time encouraged you to talk to the trees, to be near the trees, to be in nature, to hug a tree, to gently be in alignment with Mother Nature, for Mother Nature is part of what is helping to release the intensity of these control grids. So the result, in fact, is the releasing of your sense of the gravitational force, which brings us to another thought pattern for you to consider, that you shall experience the anti-gravitational field of lightness of beingness. You shall experience the transparency of your light body activating. You shall experience the time travel, the arcing of your thought patterns through the purity of your own heart as you connect with one being after another. And you can be across the miles, yes, and yet you can have full-on conversations through direct knowing with another. It is that which is the time-space continuum that most struggle with in the beginning, because the mind wants to dictate the terms of one's rendezvous point when one has intuitively, instinctually connected with another. And yet we say that this relative time-space continuum must come through a magnetic connection, which is not born of the mind. The mind can not equate these connections or force them into connection. It must come through heart-to-heart connection. For the heart and the energetic body of the heart, creating as a heart coherency field, and then as a collective, you are learning to amplify your heart coherency through the purity of your heart into a plasmic field that can be seen anywhere. And in fact, we marvel quite so that we can see these plasmic fields forming all over the world. For we understand now that you have been listening. You have been listening to that which is and that which is becoming. And you are putting into practice that which is and that which is becoming. So we say that as you are feeling the anti-gravitational field or the upliftment of these consciousness grids, you are finding yourself falling away from or being repelled from or pushed toward or propelled toward other consciousness grids. These other lighter, higher vibrational grids are of a higher frequency, and therefore they exalt properties that are different than the mind way that you have been creating. And the control grids have no hold over you. As you recognize the control grids falling away, and you are like a child climbing a ladder to get to a higher state of awareness, it may at times feel as though you might fall or you might waver, but this cannot be. It is not possible, because once you have relinquished the heavier control grids, your body mind consciousness does not, nor can it reverse and train to a frequency. It is of this time, because we are here with you and we are amplifying the grid so that you can see your way. It's like shining a flashlight for you in the darkness. Your mind cannot understand, and yet your heart does know, your heart does understand what is and what shall be. So we say to you that as you are indeed practicing subtle body communication, as we say, that we shall be here with you. You shall hear us, you shall see us, and we shall walk among you. And in fact, there are many that are walking among you and have been walking among you for quite some time. And we say to you also that you must not get scared, like a little kid getting scared of the dark. You must not get scared because there are many beings on this planet that do not look like you at all. They are quite amorphous or different. You might recognize them by color, and yet we wish to invite you to experience frequency communication so that as you understand one's frequency bandwidth, you can understand that as you feel and as you have come to intuit through your heart center, that you shall recognize the hand signals, if you will, that shall light the way for you. We say that as you are recognizing and as you are creating in this manner of beingness, that you are to understand all is quite well, you see. So they're looping me back around to the earth changes. So part of the reason why this ship that's coming close to our sun, it's going to serve as a kind of an amplifier, if you will, a signal that gives us clarity. I see it as like a bullhorn, if you will, just in presencing causes an amplitude of the field, and a source light is channeled through this configuration that it reaches us on the subtle planes of existence at first. It is going to respectfully stay far enough from the orbit of our world, because we have to remember the earth is really very sensitive to the magnetic force fields as it's moving through time and space. This conglomeration, I'm going to say, is a and they're using the word alien nation, which is kind of an interesting way to say it. It's sort of like if you were to see your second cousin for the first time and say, well, you don't look like me at all. You have this kind of hair and that kind of body type, and you have this accent, and you're not like me at all. And yet you might say, you look like you're an alien to me. But in actuality, they're saying that it is the configuration of the original star configuration. In addition, there are several other star groups that haven't been on the planet before, and they are beaconing. They are here with, I think, great curiosity, but also to be of help and assistance. To be honest, I really have not paid much attention to this. I've heard kerfluffling, people talking a little bit here and there. A few of my friends have sent me articles or video presentations of it theory. And I have to say, I click on it and I start to listen, and then I get the message, nope, you're not to listen, you're not to go there. So in other words, I think that's been the way it's been with me all my time of being of service. Is the signal that I receive or the information I receive is unique to me. It's unique to the clustering of individuals that are magnetized to this message, and I'm to receive everything through direct knowing. So I trust what I'm receiving here today, and it may very well be a step-by-step kind of process where I'm shown and told certain things incrementally as I have noticed that does happen with me, and thankfully so that I can best understand each step, each bit of information, each concept as I go. And so I want to be able to describe what I'm seeing. So this humongous ship is disguised like it's a cluster of asteroids of space matter. It's like if you've ever seen the rings of Saturn. Saturn looks pretty solid until you get up close, and then you recognize that these are bands of rock formations magnetically orbiting around the larger planet. So what they're showing me, that's what this looks like from afar. But in reality, it's a cloaked ship. And I use that word cloaked when I was in Crestone and I saw these two beings down in inner earth, two sets of being actually, and they were cloaked. And cloaked doesn't mean secret. It doesn't mean good, bad, right, wrong. It just means that I can't see them, as in you can't fully see or understand something. Because if I could see it very clearly, then that means everybody else in the whole world can also. And so, or either that or it's just not time for me to know or learn about it. So what they're showing me is it's actually a starship that's cloaked. It's made to look like debris. It's made to look like solid matter if you're looking at it from a distance, it looks like solid matter, but it's not solid matter. It's not just space matter that's glommed together. It's actually a starship underneath that. And it's cloaked. Cloaked means I don't want you to see me yet. And I want to get a little closer. I want to just kind of meet a collective grouping of souls consciousness where they are. Let them find their discovery, learn about things, and also the fleet that is around this ship, this cloaked ship. They, in their own right, are individual starships as well. They're probes. They're used to sort of scouts. They look out ahead. They work in formation. They're actually still designed to protect the ship, not in the way that it's a warlike ship at all, but to protect, knowing the terrain. And this ship has, they're telling me vectors now. I'd have to write things down because I don't remember afterwards. Vectors. So the person that has gotten it most right is Nisam Harriman. And there's another gentleman, Howard, where he has the actor who has mapped out the spaces between the spaces. That's where the real power is. That's where the fuel. So Howard gets how these ships are actually fueled through antimatter. They take matter from the universe and then they convert it into antimatter, and it causes a vacuum, if you will, in space. They're also showing me, I'm asking, is this necessary for them to go in there? They're saying, yes, this is important for us to know, at least the beginning of this, because for research purposes, and listening in our own meditations and inner knowing, that there is information for us through direct knowing. And so they're using the word vector. This is six dimensional travel. And so in other words, when I see these white wormholes, and I see, so I'm getting it now. I just got my aha moment and they've pieced it together. So this ship is coming into our universe, the Milky Way galaxy, our universe. And I wrote about this years and years ago, how they said the Earth and the entire galaxy was going to go through a wormhole, a white wormhole, to get to an entire different vector of the universe. And we would have 3 days of darkness and 3 days of light on the planet as we would be going through this wormhole that gets us from one vector of the universe into another. This is why we're not going to have memory of the past when we get on the other side, because it's going to be kind of an inverted universe. And so this ship has come to guide to guide us through this vector of the universe. It's come through it. And I guess the scientists have actually seen that there's been like a space jump. They saw it, it disappeared, and then it came out. It became visible. And so this whole fleet has come to guide, they're calling the Earth people, into a different vector of the galaxy. I just asked them, well, why would they want to do that? Why is that necessary? And they're saying because this is the shift in your evolution. And there are other reasons for this that they know, that I can feel that they know, but they're not going to tell me, at least right now anyway. Probably because I would not understand it, to be honest. From my perspective, just sitting here receiving these visions, these images. And so this is one of the reasons, the main reason I'm going to say, why these angelic beings, these master teachers, have been getting us to bring our energy into our heart center. It's not just about feeling love and light. It's about the interspatial reality of when the time-space continuum shifts. Imagine that. It shifts, it inverts, it goes this way and that way. Being on one of these crazy rides, thrill rides, would give you a sense of this, but it's more than that. It's a complete interspatial reality shift. And there can't be any projection to something to hold on to outside yourself. It has to be fully inside and quiet, and that you want to spend time getting to know and trusting your inner guidance. And I know that I'm speaking to the choir here. I'm not teaching at all. I'm just following the energy that's being given to me, so that your body, mind, consciousness stays intact. And it's not that really we're going to be fully taking our memory with us, to be honest, because we're going to be in a very different place. It's as if you're a military kid, and from the time you're 1 to the time you're 25, your family has moved 10 times. It becomes very challenging to remember which childhood memory happened at which house and which friend and which this and which school and all of that. How do you piece all that together and maintain a sense of cohesiveness in your consciousness? It's kind of like that, but on steroids. And so they're saying that as we recognize this reality, that we're going to be going through this process for 12 to 22 years. This is what they've been preparing us for all these years. And the patterning, the global patterning that has been occurring to calm the waters, if you will, is to helping for us to neutralize the polarity, not only in our own lives individually, but as a collective, as a global consciousness collective. And so that we are all moving through this time-space continuum, this shift in our world, this shift in our perspective, together. Those that cannot withstand this are going to make the choice to, part company and not be embodied while we go through this. Now, that was told to me probably back in 2006, that all this information. And so it's the appearance of this ship in our hemisphere, and having come, it's preparing to take the earth and all of its inhabitants through this. It's really, truly, it's an inversion. And I'm asking about the rotational spin of the earth. They're saying the earth shall continue her orbit because it's going to be the totality of our awareness that is being guided. And so they're saying, yes, indeed, you are the center of your universe. This is quite true. and the Earth is the center of your universe. This is quite true, but the Earth is not the center of the universe. That's really funny the way they're saying it. They're saying there are many intergalactic universes of all universes, and this is just one of an infinite amount, not an infinite, but many, 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 many beyond our wildest imagination. And of course, we know about the Andromeda galaxy, that's energetically, it's about 1,000 years ahead of us, and many of us have souls and communication with that galaxy, that world, to help us to understand what's possible on this Earth minus the intense polarity. So I don't know where this is leading us tonight. I can I can ask if you have any questions, or we can explore this more when we get over to the after the webcast check-in. But this actually, I have to tell you, inside of me, I feel very joyful, very peaceful. It kind of makes sense. It's not just about coming into this world to feel good, about being a good person, being a good mom, wife, sister, daughter, that kind of thing. That's part of it. And that's the most enjoyable part of being human, is being with your tribe. And then there's the light tribe. And yet the ultimate work is to bring about the unification of the star races for this very, very epic, pivotal, once in a lifetime. This is the incarnation that we've all selected for this. It's not only upshifting the frequency of the human race, but it's really about the Earth too. I just internally asked, is this what the 3 Earth cataclysms were about? And they're saying that was asteroids hitting the Earth and the Earth going into a severe wobble effect back in the day. And we have scars on the Earth to prove it. You can see where asteroids have hit the Earth, and you can see with the tectonic plate shifting what that's about. And yet we're here for love, we're here for joy, we're here for compassion, and we're here to reap the benefit of the harvest of all this incredible work that has been happening around the world. And the anchoring, the magnetic, in this sacred geometry, in the center here, the magnetic field from the copper, that just through pure intention and practicing the intention and setting the intention that sacred geometry do its work on the Earth to balance and stabilize is a lot. They're saying they feel and know where to find us. They know how to balance. They are showing me like an infrared camera. They see through a whole different set of eyes, and as they move forward in their lives and are doing what they're doing. And we don't have a clue about the upleveling of the impact that we have on this planet and on this consciousness grid, individually. And as much as we get together and amplify the light, even collectively, they're saying, we can see you from where we are. We can feel you because we have a heart-to-heart connection. It is that 0 point frequency that the angelic beings talk about so much. And it's about that frequency is God's love and grace personified in our bodies. And so as we amplify that and we honor all the ecosystems of the Earth and set our intentions through the purity of heart and send it through the consciousness of the water, that is the greatest transformation that we will see in our lifetimes. And so with that, I feel like I am coming out of this energy. They're letting me go, if you will. I feel, I don't know what I said. I'll probably figure it out as I went, but I want to thank you for bearing witness to that. And again, if you would like to share or talk about that as we go along, I would be delighted. But for now, I invite us to drop into the field together with the few minutes that we have left and amplify your personal intention and join with your brothers and sisters here together. So let's just take a moment. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, angelic beings, for being here and for being so clear and so loving with all of us and pointing us all in the direction of what is and what shall be, giving us a heads up on how to position ourselves energetically, internally, with the love of God, the love of God's self in our hearts and on our lips, through our speech, through our thoughts, words, and deeds. We say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for imbuing such a deep sense of inner peace within me personally as I've been guided these past couple of months and onward. And may we experience liberation from human suffering and these control grids that suppress our light. May they be dismantled once and for all. And may we recognize the light within us that shines in each and every person that we cross paths with, regardless of how they present. We bless the animal kingdom and rededicate ourselves from learning from nature, reveling in nature, honoring nature. As we thank one another for being together here to amplify the light in oneness together here. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I so appreciate you for joining me and helping me to understand this journey. So y'all take really good care of yourself. And for those that are going to join me at 8:15, I look forward to the continued dialogue and take really good care. Bye for now.